Welcome to lesson 11 on the design and implementation of Soccer League Transfer Portal using server-side Blazor. In this lesson, we will customize club details CRUD pages. Now, the first thing we are going to do is to ensure that our SQL Server service is running. Okay, so okay, it's running. Now that we've confirmed that, the next thing we're going to do is to start Radzen. So I right click on Radzen, then I say open. Then I will double click on Soccer League Transfer app. Then I'll close this window. Now, what I want to do is to implement a confirm delete dialog for club detail. Now, how do I do that? Now, in order to do that, I'll right click on edit club detail. I will select duplicate. After selecting duplicate, I will go to copy of edit club detail. I'll right click on it. I'll select properties. I will change the name of the page to confirm delete club detail, and I'll click save. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this text box, delete this required validator, I'll delete this text box, delete this required validator, delete this text box, delete the required validator. I'll delete this text box, I'll delete this required validator, I'll delete this text box, I'll delete the required validator. Then I'll go to outline. I'll select the club logo row. I will delete the entire row for club logo. After that, I'll go to toolbox. I'll look for a label. I'll drop it inside the column for team name. I'll go to properties. I'll change the text property of that label to club detail dot team name. I'll drag another label by the inside home ground row. I'll set the text property to club detail dot home ground. I'll drag another label for registered office address. I'll set the property to club detail dot registered office address. I'll drag another label for email. I'll set the text property to club detail dot contact email. I will drag another label for contact telephone. I'll set text property to club detail dot contact telephone. Now, having done that, I'll go to the row for team name. I'll select it, then I'll go to outline, select the row. I'll now select duplicate. After selecting duplicate, the next thing I'm going to do is I'll select So I will select the label. I will select the column, the right column in the topmost row. I'll right click it in outline, view, and then I'll select delete. Then I will select the label in the remaining column in the topmost row. Then I'll delete it. I'll now go to toolbox and I'm going to look for heading in toolbox. I'll now place heading in the remaining column in the first row. After doing that, I'll go to properties. I'll change the size of the heading to H1. Then I will set the text property to club detail. After setting the text property of the heading to club detail, I'll go to outline. I'll select the row for that club detail heading and I'm going to select the duplicate action for it. After selecting the duplicate action for it, the next thing I'm going to do is the duplicated club detail. I'll select it in outline view. Then I will go to properties. I'm going to change the size to H3. And then I'm going to change the text to confirm if you want to delete this club. Then I'm going to adjust the heading so that it fits on one line. Now, after doing that, the next piece of business for me is to go to the save button. Then I'll change the text to delete club. I'll go to the icon. I'll change the icon to close. Now, after doing that, the next piece of business for me is to go to pages. I'll go to the club detail page. I'll click on the data grid. Then I'll click on the ellipsis for the column. And then I'll click on the last column. After clicking on the last column, I'll click on edit template. Then I'll click on the delete button. Then I'll go to events. Then I'll undo the click event. I'll delete the current event handler for the click event. I'll replace it with a new empty event handler. I will set the action type to open dialog. Now the page I'm going to navigate to is confirm delete club detail, and I'm going to set a parameter. Now I click plus to add a new parameter. I set the name of the parameter to team ID. Now what will be the value? I'll click data bind this property. Then I'm going to select as my value template property team ID. Then I'll click OK. Then I click done. After that, I'll click end template editing. Now, after doing that, I'll go back to confirm delete club detail. So now it's time for me to now implement the code to actually delete the club. Now, how do I do that? I'll go to my applications, then I'll go to show application directory. Then I'm going to double click on the Visual Studio solution file for Soccer League Transfer app. So after opening the project in Visual Studio, I will go to Solution Explorer. Then I'm going to look for the confirm plot detail page. Then I'm going to open confirm delete club Blazor.cs. So I've just opened confirm delete club Blazor.cs. I'm going to implement a custom method. So custom method to delete a club. So I have private async task week delete club. So I'm going to call delete club detail method in data service. So what do? I'm going to say first of all, let me have try catch. Exception. X. Notification service dot notify notification severity dot error error summary club detail delete error. Detail and error occurred while deleting this club. Please contact system admin. Full stop. Display this message for 5 seconds. So inside this, we are calling delete club detail method in data service. So you have await on data dot delete club detail. Now there is a parameter we are passing from the list page for club, and that parameter is the team ID parameter that I created earlier on. Since the name team ID does not exist in the current context. Let me go back. So this club detail and the columns, and what I did was I went here, confirm delete club detail. and I created this parameter called team ID. So it's supposed to show on this page. Let me look at this designer to see if there's actually a parameter called team ID. Oh, you cannot see the parameter. I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause this, save the page, go back to Radzen, try to run the application and see what happens. So the application has run without any issues. Now the first thing I'm going to do is to go back to Solution Explorer. Look at Confirm Delete Club Detail Designer. So now the page can see the parameter that is being passed from the club detail list page. So now I can come to this place and take in the parameter. So here I am passing in parameter team ID, which I set in the club detail list page. Now, after deleting club, the next thing I want to do is to redirect to club detail list page. So I'm going to say URI helper dot navigate to the name of the page. The name of the page is club detail. So I'm going to say navigate to club hyphen detail. Club hyphen detail. First load property will be set to true. I'm going to save this. Now the next piece of business for me is to actually call this method from the designer. Now in order to call this method in the designer, I'll go back to Radzen. I will stop the application. I'll go to Confirm Delete Club Detail page in the designer. I'll go to the outline. I'm going to select the form. Then I will go to Events. I'll click the event handler for Submit. I will delete everything that is there and add a new event handler. I'll select the action type to execute C sharp, and the code I'm going to execute is await await what? Await Muyik delete club. Then I click done. Now let me look at this cancel page. Let me see what it goes. Where it goes. What it does is just close the dialog. So having done that, next thing is to run. So I'm running the application now. So the application has started. I log in as Muyik, put in my password, click login. Now I go to club details page. I'm going to add a new club. The name of the club will be Juvenile FC Home Ground 15 Ronaldo Drive, Turin. Registered office 27 Ronaldo Drive, Turin. Contact email admin@juvenile.com. Contact telephone. I'm going to upload the club logo. Click on that. So let me load this logo. I say open. Then I click save. Now what happens when I say I want to delete the club? I click on delete. This message comes up asking me confirm if you want to delete this club. And I say delete club, off it goes. When I say cancel here, back to the page. Now I want to confirm if validation is happening for email. Currently there is no validation for email, so let's validate email. How do we validate email? Now to validate the email, we'll go back to Radzen. We will stop the application. Then we will go to edit club detail. We'll go to toolbox. We'll search for validator by typing VAL. I'm going to drag and drop email validator. So associated component will be contact email, and the text will be please enter valid email address. I'm going to go to the add club detail page as well. I'll go to toolbox, under validator, I drop contact email. Yeah, I could drop email validator, sorry. Component, associated component will be contact email. And then I'm going to change the message to please enter valid email address. Then after doing this, the next thing I'm going to do is to run the application. So I run the application again in Radzen. So the application has started, sorry. I'm going to log in as Moyik, type in my password and click login. I'll go to club details. I'm going to add Juventus FC. Home ground, Juventus Stadium, Turin. Registered office, 13 Ronaldo Drive, Turin. Contact email. So the validation works now. Admin@ juventusfc.com. Contact telephone. Then I'm going to upload the club logo. Juventus FC. So I click save. Now let's test the edit functionality by double clicking on this record. By double clicking on this record and changing the contact telephone to be made up of 9. I click save. So with that, we have come to the end of the lesson on customizing club details list page, customizing club detail add page, customizing club detail edit page, and customizing club detail delete page. Thank you for watching.